heard that a man wants to be your hero and that men in general want to please women. And maybe, just maybe, that hasn't always been your experience with a man either. Well, here's the good news. In today's video, I'm going to share with you 5 man motivating secrets that help bring out the very best in a man. The cool thing about this is that it helps create that win-win scenario where you get more of your needs met and a man gets to be appreciated, acknowledged, and admired for what he brings to the table too. My name is Marchant Johnson with Love Life Coaching, and I'm here to help you be that woman of high value that attracts your high quality man. I want you to make all of your decisions about your relationships and interactions with men from that place of being centered in your own value. And so when I talk about 5 magic man motivators today, this does not mean that you're responsible in any way for the behavior of a man. But what I also know is that as a woman, you have the power to influence, inspire, and bring the best out in a man by some of the ways that you show up. So let's jump right in and let's look at these 5 magic man motivators. The first one is assume the best in him. Have you ever noticed that people often rise to the level of our expectation of them? So what this means in real life is if a man says or does something that you don't understand, don't immediately assume the worst or assume the motive that you think a man might have for something that he does that you don't understand. When you assume the best and assume that there might be a reason or something that you don't fully understand as to why he's doing something, then that can help to create a bridge of communication and understanding to open up that possibility that it might be something completely different than you might have originally thought. I love this thought that is taught by the amazing Alison Armstrong, and that is, what if no one is misbehaving, including you? And also, I might add, including a man. So start with that. Give a man the benefit of the doubt. See him as innocent until proven guilty, so to speak. And don't project something that someone in the past has done or a way that a man has shown up in the past onto a current man. That's not right, and that's not fair, and that's not going to bring out the best in a man. Okay, so number 2 is be willing to ask for what you want and need. So in interviewing literally hundreds of men over the last few years, one message that has come through really clearly is that men are not good guessers. They cannot read our minds. They don't always intuitively know what we want. They don't understand or know what our expectations may be in a lot of situations. And so the key is, first of all, for you to be in touch with your own wants and needs, and then be willing to invite a man to step up in that way. So some lovely ways that you can do that are phrases that might start with, you know what I'd really enjoy? You know what would really feel good to me? You know what would really make me happy? And then say what your request would be. And then you can say, what do you think? Or would that be something you'd be able to do for me? So when you ask and invite in that way, that's part of what inspires that hero instinct in a man. It comes across as a request and not a demand. And it also does not keep a man guessing, wondering what it is that you would want. So being willing to ask for what you want and need is actually really key if you want a man to show up for you in a way that is inspiring to you, that feels good to you. And the key is this also helps him to feel like he's wanted and needed, which actually leads me really nicely into number 3. And that is, you as a woman can set him up to win. Now, I did a whole video on this basketball analogy, and I'm not a big sports person, but I'm going to give you a brief version of it here. In basketball, two of the key positions are the guard and the forward. So right now, I want you to think of yourself as being the guard. This is the person that often dribbles the ball down the court and sometimes takes those three-point jump shots, but more often than not, passes the ball to a forward or a center that's closer in toward the basket and can often make the easy shot. Now, a lot of times as women, we can set a man up to win by letting him know what we want, recognizing if we're in a relationship, we're playing on the same team, by asking him or letting him know or setting him up in a way where he can make the easy shot. He can get credit for the shot, but because we're on the same team, we both win. So a brief example of this would be my husband and I decided early on in our marriage that we would not be upset with each other over what did or didn't happen on various holidays. We would share what we wanted. Mostly this means I share what I want and then I let him set it up. So for example, it might look like, hey, Benjamin, you know what I'd really, really love for Valentine's Day this year? I'd really love a beautiful bouquet of flowers, and I'd really love for us to have that wonderful seafood dinner together at home and just have a nice, quiet, romantic evening. Is that something you can arrange for me? And so then he knows exactly what I want. He knows that I'm wanting and would really appreciate some flowers. And he also knows what I'm hoping the evening to look like so he can arrange for getting the food and helping me so that we can create that kind of romantic evening that I dream of. So I'm actually asking what I want, but I'm setting him up to win with me. And then I acknowledge and appreciate him, which makes him feel really good. So we both get to win. I get what I want. He also gets that feeling, that masculine feeling of providing that for me. And men often show their love by doing, but they often need to know what we want them to do in order to do that. Also, another thing you can do, here's number 4, is you can use specific man motivating phrases. Now, in one of my interviews with John Gray, he taught me 3 key phrases that he said men love to hear. The first one is, that's a good idea. When a man shares something, when he offers his opinion, or when he offers his thoughts, or when he offers his expertise on something, just let him know that you heard him and acknowledge that he has some good ideas. That feels good to a man. It makes him feel like he has something to offer. The second one is, wow, you're right. It's great for a man to feel like his point of view or something that he says has validity, has value, and acknowledging and letting him be right can be a really powerful man motivating phrase. The next one is simply, well, that makes sense. So again, it shows that his point of view, his opinion, the way he's thinking about things, even if it's different than yours, has some validity. And I can also add one additional man motivating phrase, which is a phrase that men have told me that they love to hear, and that is, it's not your fault. If things don't go perfectly and he's tried to do something that was nice for you, just let him off the hook and say, it's not your fault. Or if things don't go perfectly in life and something goes a little south, letting him know it's not his fault is going to feel really, really good to a man because he takes responsibility, or he feels responsible in a lot of ways for your happiness and well-being. And when things go wrong, he can feel that very, very personally. Whether it's you don't like the movie you went to, you don't like the food at the restaurant, whatever, if you can just say it's not your fault, that's going to feel really good to him. In fact, I've shared this with men, and some men that have no relationship to me whatsoever other than, I'm talking to them or interviewing them, I'll share this phrase with them, it's not your fault. And they say, even right now, just hearing this right now in the moment, I feel so good. So those are 4 man motivating phrases. Number 5 is to graciously receive what a man has to offer and reinforce with that admiration, appreciation, and acknowledgement. Admiration, appreciation, and acknowledgement are three key things that men deeply crave. And when we are able to receive whatever it is they have to offer in that gracious way, where we acknowledge, appreciate, and let them know how much it means to us, and let them know that their efforts are appreciated, it's going to go a long way to continue to motivate a man to want to do more for the woman that he's with. So again, I say, no, you're not responsible for how a man shows up, but when you are in your feminine and when you are graciously receiving and when you are admiring, appreciating, and acknowledging a man for what he does have to offer, it's going to go a long way towards motivating him to wanting to do even more for you. And that creates a beautiful win-win scenario because he gets to feel that appreciation, which makes him feel good, and you get to have more of your wants and needs met. And this is a part of what also creates that romantic energy versus like a friendship or a business type relationship. So experiment with these things. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the little bell so you'll be notified when new videos come out. And be sure and leave your comments or questions below because I always look at those and appreciate your feedback. Thanks so much for watching. I'm sending you love and blessings. Bye for now.